So a lot of what I write is poetry of place to some degree, and I write about my family some. And so this poem, which I wrote several years ago, is one that combines those things, just called Galveston. My father was a road warrior. This is for Layla. This is a request. My father was a road warrior. Trips began before dawn. So that summer, as we neared the coast, the cup of night was barely cracked. A giant bouquet of black roses pulled apart by glowing fingers. As we drove, Dad told the story of his friend who, drunk one night, had launched his car almost over the seawall, woke up as it rocked back and forth, looking at water or sky, water or sky. I was asleep when we crossed the causeway. At 4, I'd never seen the sea. We approached by a narrow, housebound street, heading uphill from the saucer of the island's center. When we broke out onto the Seawall Boulevard, I saw it all at once, the ocean in its immensity, spreading forever, rolling on, breaking and reforming, whispering and shouting without cease, below wide gray ranks of clouds. Here was the beautiful monster that had eaten my great-grandmother, had taken my father to war, the dream that called my mother every day to come back and smell the salt and stand in the surf with a storm coming in. I felt it was us teetering. So drunk was I with the power of that seeing. We stood on the edge of the world, water and sky, water and sky. So they mentioned the little chapbook I've got coming out, courtesy of the Dallas Poets.
The award-winning chapbook you've got coming out.
Yeah. Chapbook coming out, that's amazing. And courtesy of Dallas Poets Community. So this is a poem that's in there. It's called 10 Minutes to Midnight. The dress came from a second-hand store, which made it all the sweeter. Who'd believe full-length red silk for such a price? Not many chances to get into that kind of outfit, but it hung like a flame in the closet corner, like the blanket of roses on a derby winner. Red like 10 minutes till midnight, like Emmylou Harris singing Luxury Liner, 40 tons of steel. Like that first Sunday morning in Paris, using her college French. Like the first time he called and asked to come over. And she put lipstick on and then wiped it off. And she thought beyond lips to moonlight, waiting in the wings. Red through the curtains. Red, not white. Red.
Killing.
So a few days ago was the birthday of a woman named Ruby Bridges, who helped integrate schools in this country. And actually, I heard about Ruby first through our friend Gene Barry, who the Irish poet who runs a poetry site, and he challenged us one day to write about Ruby. And I don't do really good with writing on command on subjects, so it took me like 6 months after he suggested it, but finally I did come back to it. So this is just called Ruby. Stick legs holding up a little girl in her lunchbox, carrying all of us to that schoolhouse door. Walk, Ruby. A girl too small to reach with a punch or a fire hose, but not too small to be hated. Ruby dragging all of us like a Sioux woman with a travois, a slave woman with a plow, a nation trailing the jagged chunks of its unacknowledged past. Ruby stretching her knobby legs to leap a gulf of grief to that classroom, flinging open that lunchbox in the cafeteria, eating our sin.
Yeah.
I'm jumping around here. Sometimes I have a theme, but you guys are just getting, you're getting the high points, just jumping around. This is called Porcelain. The towels were the color of Cabernet, rough and thick, and I watched my hand move aside the curtain, slick, wet. Architecture I knew so well, but unfamiliar now. Veins like a sinuous M across the tendons, and a day waiting out there, past the spray, or maybe an evening, no windows. But a room anyway, TV playing, perfume, a shirt, rain on the roof, other heartbeats. The tile cooling despite the heat. So the first time I read this poem, Paul said it was about bad breath. I'll let y'all judge. It's called Mouthful of Ashes. I wake with anger on my breath, dogs whining to be let out, as clock hands gather back the unused minutes of my morning. But as we go about our rituals, I am not present, wandering back through gray hours, pacing the tree line, whimpering, until I can pick up the scent of my night, find the cold campfire of my memories. Who saw, who was singed or sickened? What earned me this leaden stomach? Only answers scatter the crows, give me a taste of peace. I think that grief must wear away a switch, file down a trigger, so that tears are always near the brim, skin over raw places thinner, my reservoir of goodwill now a lake in drought. Makes me snarl and swing my head from danger to danger, like a bitch not knowing which hand holds a treat and which a blow. I always knew the power of words, but now the leash has worn a welt in my palm. When I was loved, I did not know its absence would strengthen my jaw muscles from so many hours of clamping shut my mouth, holding back the heat of this furnace that cooks me. This is Wake Me. Wake me in the late afternoon, Poppy, when rooms have cooled under the fan and the evening opens like a late blooming flower releasing its scent, and there is nothing I must do. We dine on the porch, good cheese and cheap wine, watching the mutts race like greyhounds after an invisible rabbit. The neighbor is at his piano, church music, when yard lights begin their subtle duel. Shall my trellis throw windowpane checks upon the pianist's garage, or his make a Chinese print of delicate blossoms on mine? As spaces between my thoughts line up like a humming choir, we are deep in a velvet well below Orion. We cannot see the metals sizzling in the air, nor hear the cries of victims. We are but thickened spirits in unlidded baskets, rising to mingle before the first gusts of the thunderstorm. This one will be familiar to a couple of people. Soft goods. Have to fill my purse flask, she said. We're going to buy a wedding dress for the niece she'd raised. I knew she'd already asked the lovebirds about waiting, but what could she say? Married herself at 18, and look how that turned out. Her own wedding dresses, the first for the courthouse vows, homemade, dowdy, and daring at the same time. She thought she'd stop breathing if he went away, though he'd been trying to leave for a while in his own conflicted way. The second, when she was 34, simple and cream-colored, finally some dignity a crusty colleague had harumphed. Maybe the niece reads the magazines and knows what pot de soie and fingertip length and seed pearls mean. Perhaps they should buy a swatch of linen, too, for a practical hanky, stuffed somewhere in case the tears let loose. And cotton for later. Great aunt's stories of dish towels turned into baby diapers, or maybe the other way. Feed sack dresses and crazy quilts. Back when store-bought was precious and disposable unknown, and rags were what went between your legs at that time of the month, maybe they should buy something red to remember that. The realness of her body, of the smear that might come from a punched nose. Some fancy guest towels, so he can use a ruler to make sure they're evenly spaced. A long scarf for wrapping a baby or a broken collarbone, to keep her warm when he didn't show up and she had to walk home in the rain. Something that needs ironing, in case he should wish to show his love that way. Covers for cushions when they are old with creaky joints, but creaky together if they've gotten there together, with good times to remember. Patchwork for a flag, blue for a cape. The shrouds are other people's worries. One more and I will turn it over to Vic. Snow at Easter, Hermit's Peak. The creek was shallow, just inches to its stony bottom. But the horses refused it again and again. Finally, I got down and stomped holes in the thin ice with my boot heels so they could see and not fear. They'd known the glaze would not carry their weight. I knew the rocks below would hold them. It's how I step out of my door. It's what I would do for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Get ready, Fort Worth. Vic, victory!
I don't know how I followed that though. Wow.
Oh, yeah, right there.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You build.
I heard at least one thing I had not heard before. Hi. I'll do the first one here to introduce myself. Because Victory is not a stage name. My name. A gift to me from my father on my birthday. A battle cry for his sugary, spicy, victorious, dark-haired beauty. Slick Colorado ice changed my name to First Scar. Daddy held the gash closed so they could stitch me a permanent mark across my forehead. In kindergarten, my name became Ghost when I learned to hide. I placed secret names on invisible love notes, safety pinned to the Valentine inside my chest. This hurt. I grew up and fell in love with the little pistons of a bright yellow Spitfire. It changed my name to Wind and Road and the rage of my stereo. David changed my name to Us. Then to Forever. Then to the blue sound of black pain. When he changed my name to Bitch, I had trouble answering. I secretly called myself Forgiver. When my children changed my name to Mom, I danced until I almost forgot that I'd ever had another name for years. Divorce gave me back my father's name. But it was loneliness that changed my name to Poet and called me Artist. Although I'd had many names, Brian wouldn't call me by any of them. And one fool even tried to rename me something girly that he liked better. This made me laugh. My names have been spoken, bellowed, whispered, wept, and written. I like to be called Love. I answer to second chances. But what I name myself is that gift from my father on my birthday. I call myself Victory. Thinking about Texas. Downshifting up Ranger Hill, the west opens wide like a girl who can't say no. Because she's not that pretty. But you don't really know her yet. Keep driving. Even though you're unsure and haven't seen a speed limit sign since you don't know when. This is Texas. It gets so hot that it rains devils. Asphalt like a Bowie knife cuts through crisp grassland all the way to Monaghan's strange sands where I once spoke the names of my enemies, spit in a bottle, and buried it deep. My favorite color is west. Is sky the size of God? Is rusty barbed wire? Is the blur of heat on the horizon? Pecos peppered cat desert, gang banged by oil field pumps, right next to wallflower wind farms, left unloved by the breeze, all dressed up, no wind to blow. The lone star above scorches everything, dry and lonely. Even the ground separates from itself, leaving cracks so deep that dogs fall in. This place will kiss you like a cactus, but thank God it doesn't embrace. It knows it's a cactus. So it spreads out and dares you. Okay, now that I'm warmed up, let me do a little something that I would do at a slam. A little more flamboyant. Let's see. My dysfunctional love poem. Rumble thunder, rain come tumbling down. Don't care about no fever. Don't care about muddy ground. This ain't no 40 days and 40 nights kind of a rain. This is a who knows when the pain's gonna end kind of a rain. No rainbow promises the end kind of a rain. Only a broken heart would send this kind of rain, and I'm drowning in it. He says he doesn't love me anymore. So here it comes. My own hellacious downpour. Come tumbling down. Bring on the bad storm. Drown and drench this blue soul through and through so that I'll know better next time. Won't get so damn full of the moonlight next time. And I'll remember next time that sometimes forever ain't nearly as long as you think it's gonna be. See, I remember him smiling, looking down at me. Before he started looking down on me, the way cruel hearts do once they realize that you really do love them unconditionally, so they don't have to do a thing right anymore. No good narcissistic lovers thinking tears are just water like diamonds are just stone. Knowing nothing better than get away with murder before they go away altogether. This is what I gotta remember, that you can't love somebody into loving you back. And you can't just put more of your own heart into the equation to make up for what they lack. And just because you want something so bad you can taste it, don't mean jack. It's like those daisy petals. You remember him? He loves me. He loves me not. And if you want to know where you're going to come out in the end, all you got to do, baby, is count those petals first. See what you got. It's not the cruel hearts, but we fools, too, who are true authors of the blues. This is what I got to remember. So I'm making a bargain with that dark sky tonight. Bring on the bad storm. Drown me. Bring on the bad storm. Drench me. Bring on the bad storm and drown me and drench me and teach me a lesson that I won't so soon forget. You can crash down light and just light my way back home, where I've got blues waiting for me by my window, all alone. You want to hear something else slammy? Or you want to hear something else booky? We got them both. Let's see.
Slammy.
Let's see. You are so sexy. Like I-35 all the way to Austin. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, because I want to go all the way with you. Our neon orange cinder drifting up from a late night campfire while I watch and wonder if you'll go cold in the sky over my head or come down hot nearby. Wild grass fire all around my acre. You are aching, dark, angry, messing with me, puzzling me, then scattering the pieces in a temper tantrum tango. And I am a shattered vase, and you are angry at the pieces, and I am a tongue done been sliced, and you are made like that knife on midnight TV. Slices through clean, nothing sticks to it. And I feel like shit. A dirty, earthy substance. You forget, but I remember that I'm real. Really wretched, wrecked, writhing, hitting rock bottom and ready to bail, gathering up the scraps of my shredded dignity to cover me as I prepare to exit disgracefully. And that's when you apologize. Some people drink to distraction. Others use crack. Me? I'm addicted to hope. And you deal it on every corner I tried to turn, every alleyway I staggered down. You are at the toll booth of every bridge I tried to burn. So instead of torching it like I should, I build a heart out of wood and I burn it for you, thinking you're burning for me too. But those smoke signals that I think I see on the horizon are really dark, angry clouds moving in. Oh, hell with all that. I like it when you run your finger down my spine. Trace my skeletal structure so you can build a schematic layout to my body, throwing switches I didn't know I had. Drive me crazy through the night just like a stolen car. No regard, but the music's up loud, baby, so it's all good. And you are like I-35 and I am southbound. My turn to drive, and I'm drinking you and hope like they're both going out of style. All the while we cling, we kiss, we paint poems and promises with our tongues, try to become one. but too fast and foolish, slicing through the night, not watching for those storm clouds or those prairie fires or those predatory flocks of tornadoes that seem to hunt only us. You and I are fire and road trips, racing to four-alarm memories, not just breaking the speed limit, baby, breaking the sound barrier. Maybe that's why you can't hear me crying. You and I are vulnerable, flammable, so awkwardly entwined. You and I are braided, dipped in kerosene, tequila, gunpowder, ignited.
Killing me.
Let's see here. I'll give you this one. A letter to me from my scar. I was born from smooth flesh. Mother was a wound. Father was the time it took for the blood to clot. Stitches embraced me. Good friends. They held me, pulled me together, and didn't let go until I could do it for myself, hold myself closed. Pursed in a permanent kiss. When they were removed, I thought I might burst. I was tight and raw and scary before the dried gore flaked away. Born from wound and time, I am scar, tough tissue. I regret that I shame you, that you hide me. Just like you, it wasn't my choice to be here. And I don't want to be ugly. Scars, we try to be small. We try to shrink, fade into the surrounding flesh. You understand that feeling. The one on your chin, the result of a childhood collision with the pavement, I wish I was tiny like that one. Not such an extensive roadmap to your past injury. I am a big scar. Often jealous of the love you bear, the marks needled into your skin, your tattoos, your chosen scars. I was not chosen. I was fate. But I am so much more. More than the terrible flaw you fear to show a future lover. I am the thickest, strongest part of you. I am a signature of your powerful love. I was the curtain that parted when your beautiful child stepped upon the stage. Please, when you touch the length of me, think of her and love me. Understand what I represent. Just like you, I am proof that sometimes there is a price, that life goes on. Damage heals. I am the strongest skin you've got. Would this be the last one you said? Would this be it, or should
I
I?
haven't been timing it, but we have, yeah, it should.
Okay, let's wind it up with something a little lighter and more fun. Ladies and gentlemen, bending the floor before you, 1 ton of absolutely curvaceous attitude, come right at you. I'm fat. That's right, I'm fat, but I don't have to be small just to make you feel big. I get to be big. Big in body, mind, and spirit. I'm a large girl, I take up space, and I don't want to hear you say, "You have such a pretty face." Honey, I'm pretty in a lot of other places too. Precious few of which I intend to show to you. Yeah, I'm fat. Hourglass figure. Something like an hour and a half. Aware of the fact that because I'm wide, I will be disqualified as sexy. My mind's too narrow to appreciate this wider perspective. Ain't much I can do if that's their view, but do they suppose that they'd be greater if only I were lesser? Forget that stuff, I don't need the pressure, this is me. And every inch of me is mine, and I know that these fine arms have held the crying. Comforted the dying. Upon this ample lap, loved ones have laid their aching skulls, and I've lulled them to sleep. My spirit is wide and tall and deep and big and fat, undeniably fat, defiantly fat. I have grown weary of the dark colors meant to camouflage, for I am as big as a house with a 2-car garage. There ain't no tricks gonna make me look like I'm a size 6. No tricks, no lies will disguise these thighs. So guys, I will rise against the lessons I learned as a girl. Nothing will lessen me. And I will wear horizontal stripes. Bright colors, short skirts, big prints. The clothes that make me happy are the clothes that make sense. And what makes no sense at all is why should I have to fake small when I can be grand, immense, voluptuous, Rubenesque, P-H-A-T, F-A-T. I can and will be as big as I want to be. Matter of fact, I'll stretch out. North, south, east, west, for half a mile in all directions, be nothing but me. And you will just have to go around. I'll say it out loud, I'm fat and I'm proud. All my round sisters rock on. And all my little bitty sisters. Y'all rock it big. It ain't about how many inches round, dude. It's about how big you are in here. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you both. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm Paul Konecki. Thank you all so much for coming out tonight.
This is Paul Konecki. As if he needed an interview.
Oh my. This first piece just makes a really quick reference to a character, Chin the Mango Juice. It's a fusion of a gentleman I tried to help in Tyler and another one I tried to help here in Fort Worth, and really in the end, they helped me a lot more. I melt, like some forgotten cup, balancing hot, cold, and alone on a shrinking patch of shade, behind the drugstore, under a parapet of brick, holding the thesaurus I use as a pillow or a note from friends. Are you listening? It was a time of soiled bedrolls and empty parking space, lemon yellow lines and dreams of falling, showering in a hand sink 4 feet off the floor, praying for an allowance of common soap and uncommon privacy, the sound of movement in the morning, steering wheels, tires humming, sour bodies and sweet gasoline, pulling in on itself like urban origami. Chin the Mango Juice remembers rest in the common verity of repose, like an absent limb finding a missing itch. Dry heart, dry eye, dry well, I have not the words for this. The assistant drugstore manager in her garden takes notice and approaches to shake me off the small comfort of a wee dark spot, oozing need like molasses. Why are you lying down? I bring her to me. The blacktop is hot and glassy on my back, pulling against the buttercup growing in my chest. Our breath goes up and down, opening and closing the ground like a lid, and the rising heat saturates the spirit so foreign and close. I hear love songs, mad songs to the apparitions in the heat. I have burned dead grass for body hair. Teeths are clouds, and the wind blowing through them hurts. I like stacks of ripping things, dirty wings, missing teeth lap dance for me. Sweat is a wound in an ocean of rank. I am sweat. I am my life, a wreck erected behind the diamond shamrock. I am in league with dripping things. Chalk dust cops, erasers cleaned, cotton mouth liquor store, wine in the forest, forest in the door, sun in a ditch off the edge of a dick-dead shadeless parking lot, the color of a gun, pink like love in my dry tongue, and the left side of my cheek, from the kisk of scissors to the nailing lid, lick the empty buttercup and hold something like the sun. In the remnants of scrapings. The cabinet smelled of vacancy and fennel seed. He understood the cabinet's dream of being referred to as a pantry. He climbed in and lay down. An empty jar of Peter Pan sidled up and spooned him like a child. Taxi cab confessions played on the Sony down the hall. Fear and hunger leapt out of the lemongrass like a policeman or a fawn. The prostitute in this episode talked about danger with authority and suffering with love. She had fuck me cleavage and fuck you eyes. He wished she had had macaroni or rice. Unscrewing the lid on the peanut butter jar, he found an oracle in the remnants of scrapings. and the face spoke in a voice softer than hooker lips and naga hide, pear peel and lullabies, mother's milk and synchronicity, and the voice said all things in moderation, except enthusiasm, perpetuity, and jam. Landfill 78, Timmy's song. Roger was a soldier once. He liked to take his friends to topless bars. I thought it meant those establishments had outdoor seating. If I ever have twin daughters, I'll name them Cain and Abel. It reminds me of the military alphabet, although I think I'll change the spelling. My father had a cane for show he called a walking stick. I didn't understand Monty Python, but I wanted to Monty Python the tendons in his neck. Chasing abstractions like Beauty and Dumb, legend stated Roger liked to rub his penis on urinal ceramic. I thought cigarette smoke looked like a girl talking to the longest evening of the year. All the men smoked. It was a billion flowers. It was an alien invasion. It was an octopus on fire. In the store shop window glass, the orange tips of their cigarettes looked like fireflies in a mason jar of fog. Courage was a wrestler, and her lips were like a graveyard, and her hair was like the sun. I was a distance runner, cross country, breaking miles longer than 8th grade girls' legs in shoeless winter snow. Roger liked to race me short distances, to the bedroom and the bathroom in his cane. When he beat me, he called me dumb. His cough followed his laughter like a backhoe in a landfill, or the beauty in the lighting of a Pall Mall cigarette. Brick red package, brick red face, brick red heart, stale thunder and warm beer, hot lightning and cold blood. My father's name was Roger, and in the Army, that means yes. Keystone or freeze? Aorta, fist of flesh, furious instrument of this most enigmatic life, little Hamlet, do you swear to tell the truth? Your Honor, Monday, Cosmic Mother, Yahweh God, let their pain be held in abeyance as I catch my beating breath. Thin ice, frozen lake of empathy and internet, psyche drips, Cupid burns, the Paeta just stood up and walked out of the room. St. Timothy is leading the zombie apocalypse, petrified and unaware how to make a truck into a fertilizer bomb. Monday, the people are lost. Monday, all the clocks are wrong and the gravity of furniture holds me like a lover on the floor. Source code, Source code, instantaneous dissemination of information, World Wide Web, actual versus factual. Help me on earth as it is in the imaginarium of tools. I see my face in the faces of every evil deed done by every evil man. Are we Keystone or Freeze? Acceptance and inclusion, like two arms open, outstretched. Darkness, Monday. Lord God, show me who saves the terrible places. I'll only die tonight for the right words in the terrible places. Well, then this fits. I am slow with words. In the burrows of the night, I am slow with words. Behind the curtain of my eyes, my ink runs down the steps of your basement, beneath the basement, the floor, the foundation, the hard rock, the soft earth, the edges of your perfect lips and your perfect chin, past the people who have passed rock bottom and the dead things. I have buried myself alive. I cannot live like this. I cannot write these poems in the cacophony of my mind. I am slow with words. Behind the curtain of my heart, my sanity runs down. The wolf next to me has teeth that resemble a bank, and the teller's fangs, and the sound of coin machines spinning coins, when the bar is empty and the bottle's closed, when the great horned sky bull gores you in the side with light. Beneath your basement, the foundation, the hard rock, the soft earth, the round of your perfect cheeks, and the people who have passed rock bottom. I cannot stay in these moments. I cannot write these poems. I am slow with words. I have buried myself alive. So when you fall again, I'll already be here to rescue you. Do we have any Stevie Ray Vaughan fans? Thank you.
No, it's Texas.
She moved like a Stevie Ray Vaughan song when she walked. There's a flooding down in Texas. We drank a lot of Jameson and all the stubborn mules. I liked how the ice was already crushed. Mint and ginger muddled with some lime. Frosted copper mugshot touching skin. Each time she took up my colors and my helmet, the moon swallowed the earth and the flood grew. This morning the sky sits tender, soft, and low as a child sleeping in your arm. Walking to brunch, I crossed the street in last night's clothes. You wear the morning like knee-high leather boots. I love you drips from my lips, and the city feels like our bed. You are holy goddess made temporal empress. I am shot by the police. Abandoned phone poles bow to our love. But I am beautiful, I bleed. But I am bulletproof, I bleed. She moved like a Stevie Ray Vaughan song when she walked. I liked how the ice was already crushed. Each time she took up my colors and my helmet, the moon swallowed the earth, and the flood grew. Playground marbles. I have the most, and I am the best, and I am brave. I keep my playground marbles in a drawstring pouch. The pouch looks like Bit of Honey or Captain Crunch or the color of the sun sitting in a wheat field. During recess, we all run out to play. The playground is asphalt. Where the asphalt ends and before the grass begins, there is good even dirt. This is where we dig, and we dig to catch the marbles, and we dig to see who's best. The hole we dig is the size of a tuna can. The earth is soft and brown like my mother's hair. In my pouch I have puries and steelies and cat's eyes and swirlies. I have rubies and greenies and blues. I have the most, and I am the best, and I am brave. On my stomach and in the dirt, my fingers are perfect. And they know who invented marbles, and they know the answer to the capital of Vermont, and they know long division, and they know the right thing to say when my dad asks, why you haven't finished raking all the leaves yet? Then one day that little weasel, Andy Iris, steals my marble pouch. I run to Mrs. Hines, but all she can say is, take your seat, please. Now I have to go home and explain to my dad that all the marbles he bought me are gone, and I'm not brave anymore. School day done, head hung low, kicking rocks and praying my father is out. I find him sitting at the kitchen table, eating cream hamburger on toast he calls shit on a shingle. Hoping to pass unnoticed, I also pray for invisibility. And he stops eating his favorite meal, and he looks up, and he looks me in the eye, and God can see where I am weak. And my father asks, where are all your marbles? And I tell him. And he says, rest your hand on the table, palm up. He walks out of the kitchen and down the basement steps, and moments later he returns, holding something behind his back, and he says, pick one. I wish for steelies or rubies. In a way, both hands held something steel and something red. I pick his left hand because he's a lefty. And the glint of metal reminds me of the special fillet knives he keeps in the basement. And I've always thought my thin white scar looked like a crooked little smile. 2 for flinching. Thank you. This is the kind of stuff you will see at the Margot Jones, 3rd Mondays of the month.
And maybe here in Fort Worth in a couple of months.
And we would love to move it all over here to Fort Worth at least 2 months a year, if not more. So come out, keep supporting us, and like us on Facebook, and come to every Wildcatter exchange event ever in the history of Rick.
Joe! Adrian!
Yes, thank
you.
you.
Wonderful. All you guys.